What's up everybody, they call me Tanner. I'm a commercial photographer and video producer. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how I created 3 of my favorite photos from this photo shoot that I did for Carhartt. Real quick before we get into that, go ahead and pause this video. Over here is going to be the 3 different photos that I'm going to be editing, and then here's their times where they begin in the video. Go ahead and skip to whichever photo that you want to see edited. I don't really care. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I just want you to watch what you want to watch. All right, let's get into it. So this first photo with him looking down at us, I started by using Adobe Lightroom's auto feature. It's just a way to give me a really good base, and usually I'm a big fan of it because it just doesn't really mess up most of the time. And then I place a mask in the corner where there's light already kind of coming through there already, just to make it look like the sun was really shining down on our model. From that, like with the sun and how it's all positioned, I place a small mask on his face, and I think just by darkening this side of his face, it made the previous mask that we just added appear a bit brighter than it actually was. Then speaking of the subject, I went ahead and increased his temperature to help make it match better with the rest of the environment. I then did a couple final masks, nothing too crazy, went back to our main adjustment panel, gave it a nice little S curve just to give that little oomph. And then I threw it into Photoshop where I removed some of his scars, some stray threads, and anything else we might not want to see in the final photo. So here's the before. And here's the after. So with this second photo, I call it Dusty Drama just because it's obviously a really like dramatic angle. It's a dramatic scene. I think it turned out pretty well, but here's how I created it. I started by using Adobe's auto button in Lightroom. It's a really good way to give you a good starting point usually. After that, I raised the highlights and temperature slightly, and then the rest is Photoshop. I found this image on Pexels of these horses running through a dusty environment, and you can see that there's people on the side, and this is when cropping is really powerful. Like if you have an ex or just someone you really don't want to see in the photo, cropping is very powerful. That's what I'm doing to this guy. It's nothing personal, no heartbreak, just pure business and Photoshop. I copied and pasted our subject twice just so I could have more control on the blur effect I was going to give him in certain parts of his body. This is a down and dirty way to do a blur effect or kind of out of focus effect. There's a tool for this, but I just thought this is just going to be an easier way for me to see exactly what's happening. I then added a few dust overlays that I already had, and then some light image overlays just to kind of give it this messy scene. Here's the original photo. Here's what I came up with. This last one, this one's a really clean photo, especially compared to Dusty Drama. I don't have a name for this one. Pine tree, evergreen, man in tree, manin tree, manin tree, manin tree. If you say it really fast, it sounds like its own word. Manatry. I don't really have a good idea for that. If you have a good idea for this, go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. Whichever one I think is the best, I'll give you a shout out on my Instagram story. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at theycallme_Tanner so you don't miss any of that. So for this photo, I began by using the auto button. Did I surprise you? It just works. It just works so well. I adjusted the color sliders of the greens and the teals just to get the richness of the green pine how I wanted it. And then here is all the masking that I did. It's mostly just adjusting the exposure levels on different parts of the entire photo itself. After that, I threw it into Photoshop. First thing I did in Photoshop, I duplicated the original image as you're supposed to do. I then started making adjustments on his face, which sounds horrible, but I was just doing like small adjustments. Like if there's a scar here, I know he doesn't want his scars to show, so I remove the scars. There's dust on his face for whatever reason or dirt, I remove the dirt. You know, I just cleaned them up a little bit. It's like digital makeup. And then I had to do some searching for this, but I found an image of a pine. It was either on Pexels or on Pixabay. But yeah, I forget which website this was from. But I made a rough selection. I needed just enough pine just to make this look realistic because I was gonna make this super blurry, super out of focus. I made various copies in different sizes and adjusted them in different ways and combined them. We were just surrounded by pine. Here's the before. Here's the after. And those are how I edited 3 of my favorite photos for this Carhartt photo shoot. If you want to see any of the other photos, here they are. If you enjoyed this video, if you like just hearing me talk about how I edited these photos, or if you found it helpful and informative, go ahead and crush that like button. That's going to help out my channel. And if you want to see videos like this more in the future, go ahead and subscribe. That's also going to help me out a lot. In the meantime, if you want to see anything that I'm working on right now, you can find me on Instagram at theycallme_Tanner. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it to this portion of the video, thank you for making it all the way through. You're the real one, and I genuinely appreciate you. Until next time, bye.